tonight on BBC One. At 7 o'clock, Tomorrow's World includes a look at the dangers of driving.
Murray, I've commandeered a vehicle.
The old trick, eh? Eat the telly before I get a chance to nick you.
It's a toaster.
Dalek, you have been defeated. Surrender. You have failed.
Insufficient data.
Nazi ain't got no humanity. They're the foot soldiers of a Jew-hating, mass-murdering maniac, and they need to be destroyed. That's why any and every sumbitch we find wearing a Nazi uniform, they're gonna die.
Is this world protected? But you're not the first lot to have come here. Oh, there have been so many. And what you've got to ask is, what happened to them?
Hello. I'm the doctor.
Yes, indeed, and yes, indeed. Good evening, or good morning. I hope you're well wherever you are in the world. Oh man, so many of these streams of late is I'm like, waking up the morning after the night before. I'm like, so much indulgence because they just finished the last of the high holiday celebrations, holidays in Judaism. This is the anniversary of October 8th right now. Man, that was a crazy year last year, right? It was a crazy year last year. Well, it's kind of still crazy, but we kind of got used to being crazy. But yeah, it's look, firstly, this is the holiday just finished. It's a very chaotic one anyway. There's a lot of drinking involved, right? Not really officially, but there's a lot involved. It's supposed to go very much of a party atmosphere. And it's kind of nice. So how it normally starts is this thing I used to do when I used to run my prayer group before I quit out of my broigas with the rabbi, who's now unemployed and unemployable, quite rightly so. Anyway, so when I used to do it, firstly, you there's all these different things, different honors that you could that you get and that you auction off. There's I'm trying to think of the bare minimum to tell you not to bog you down with too much stuff, right? It's essentially you have several components, right? You have the normal prayer thing, which is a silent prayer, and actually yesterday was it? Today, for this morning was the most important part. It's where your luck turns from potential to actuals, right? So this is actually really the most important part of the whole 2-week period. What 3-4 week period? How long has it been? 3-week period. Right? Yeah, 3-week period. Whether your judgment of the year is totally sealed and delivered, right? That's what I was today. But what happens? So you got the normal part of the prayer service, and then you have this thing called HaGeffen, where you take out the big Torah scrolls. They're like these huge scrolls. Let me find a picture of one. 1 second. Here we go. Oh, these are all opened ones. Here, let's grab this one so you can. Fine. Let me get ones that are a decent size that you can see. Large. I like it large, baby. Like it large. Oh, yes. Second. There you go. So fine, that goes there. So here, this is what it looks like when it's opened. Share screen. This is basically the entire Old Testament in Hebrew. It's got to be written, handwritten by a scribe. They're expensive. They start at about $30,000, right? But but normally when you take them out of the was it? Oh, here's a good one. There, that's a good picture. There you go. Let's take this one. When you take it out of like the Holy Ark, which is where we keep them, a big wardrobe essentially. Well, that didn't work out. They're rolled up, right, like this, and they have like this cover on them. Unless you're Sephardi, where it's they put them in their own like wooden box, which surprisingly not as heavy. Oh, here's a good picture. There you go. Surprisingly not as heavy as you would think it is. Anyway, so that's the more swarthy Eastern Eastern Jew Torah, right? So it looks like that when it's opened, right? And this when you like take it out because it's got cover. So there's not like 3 or 4 of these, right? And there's a large raised table which you read it from in the middle of the room, right? And so you go around it's called the bim. That you walk around that table, and there's different fun things you say. It's kind of all musical. Everybody responds. Blah 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 blah. Right, and then it goes into they breaks into song, and they kind of like dance around, right? And you have to do that like 7. There's 7 different takes of those, right? So it's like again, and then people are normally drinking when that's going down. After that, whenever they read from the Torah, right? This thing, so you do it in little bits, and somebody comes up and says a blessing on it. The guy reads it, and then you say a blessing at the end, right? So everybody gets one of these. You get there's 7 of those on Sabbath, but everybody does this on this holiday. Simchat Torah, we bring kids up. Anyway, so after everybody does the individual ones, then there's this big one for all the kids that are too little to do it, like they're young, and somebody says the blessing for them. It's kind of cool. It's kind of cute, I should say. You hold up. Oh man, another thing. When Jews pray, they wear these things called prayer shawls called talisim. I'll get you a picture. 1 second. So you wearing doink. Oh, there you go. Actually, came out quite easily. I'm somewhat impressed. Right, no, this is the basic Jewy prayer outfit that I have too, right? So they wear this like prayer shawl over here. So what you do, people take off 2 or 3 of the prayer shawls. They make a canopy with it over that table, right? And they have all the little kiddie weeks come underneath. And somebody said we say a blessing for them, and it's candy. Oh yeah, we also hand out these candy bags in synagogue for all the kids. It's like a lot of fun, right? And then you have these 2 big sets of blessings, Chatum Torah and Chatum Bracious. Now, when I was well disposed of the synagogue, I would always buy one of them every year, and it's anything from between 1,000 to 2,000 shekels with the auction, and I would do the auction, right? So when I was doing the auction, at 1,000 shekels is about $300, right? Now, if you go to like a more New Yorky place, so like New York, or you go to much more American place, they will sell for like $1,000, right? So when I was doing this auction off these different things, I would bring in like 10, 15,000 shekels, which is a fair whack, right? A fair whack. Oy vey. I felt so. Anyway, I several years ago, right? I tell this story often. I had a broigus with the rabbi. It was wrong in every way possible. He ended up being not fired, but not renewed. But anyway, during that time, the synagogue just lied through their freaking teeth about me, right? Just lied and lied and lied, right? Which is completely forbidden in Jewish law. Not that anyone gave a shit. So anyway, so after all that, I said, look, you need to retract your lying defamation and apologize, and they refused. So I'm like, well, that's it. I'm done with you then. And that's why I stopped doing anything for them. But it got so bad last night, right? It got so insanely bad. Like this guy, lovely guy. And don't get me wrong, this guy. The problem was this guy who's never done it before, and nobody sat down with him, because that's the thing. That's the thing that pisses me off about my synagogue. Nobody gives a shit about it anymore. Like, it's always dirty. It is always because why? Because people like me don't want to be involved with them, essentially. But anyway, so this guy was selling all these things, and it was selling them incredibly low, right? So he was selling this thing, this big bread. There's the two of them, Katan Torah, Katan Bracious, right? And the other one with the kids, was it Kohanim? They should be getting like minimally 500, 600, 700 shekels each, right? Minimally. He was selling them. He started so he had it at 50 shekels, which was like $10. It was like, and it should be going minimally $200-300, right? Minimally $200 or $300, right? And he had it at $10, right? I was thinking to myself, and I felt really bad and embarrassed for them. I genuinely did. I was like, well, maybe I should, maybe God put me in this situation, right? Because that's basically my go-to thought for everything. Why did God put me right here, right now? And what does He want me to do? So maybe He wants me to relent and say, I'll buy it, and we can move forward. However far you can move forward without you apologizing, which I don't think is that far. Maybe I should be full of loving kindness. It's what God would want to. Yes and no, going back to the soul. And I said, I'll give a bit. And then as I looked up, he said, sold for 50 shekels. 50? What? I was like, holy shit. Oh, man. And it's a shame. It's a real shame because, honestly, if they would have just apologized to me, I would have been able to bring things back together to how it was beforehand. But I'm not going to do it without them apologizing. Like, no way whatsoever. And I wouldn't mind if they had attempted to apologize and did a bad job. Not even. But I'm watching this last night, and so now I found out what my line is. What's my level? Pity, right? When I literally pity you, I'm like, well, okay, maybe I can bear. But guess not. Anyway, we've just had another holiday, tons of food. And tomorrow night is Sabbath, right? So again, as always, when I stagger out of the holiday, we'll talk about this a little bit more in a second. It's been another disastrous day for Camilla Harris. Like, how does it get so? Oh, so anyway, if you do one of these like big blessing things, you also have to sponsor what's called a kiddush, which is after prayers in the morning, like 10:30, 11, something like that on Saturday. You have like food. You put out different like cakes and like hot food. This stew called chulent, different like this potato kugel, right? Which is what's the word? Not diced, not sliced, shredded, right? Shredded potato baked together with egg. Oh, it's really good. Those things. So that again, right? So that now you get an idea of how much this thing's cost. So, because sponsoring this kiddush, that costs about 1,500 shekels. So we're talking about $400 just on that, right? And so you normally spend more. So so it's all that one Democrat guy, right? We have this one person who vehemently voted down, who never ever missed an opportunity to give me shit about Trump when Trump was in power, right? Or Trump's in trouble, which is most of the time. Never failed, right? So I said you should buy this thing, and then when you do this like food thing, kiddish, you should do it in the theme of white dudes for Kamala, right? That'll be hilarious. That would be epic. He didn't see the funny side. I like the guy, but he did not see the funny side. It was like, because they're up shit creek, right? Oh, they are up shit creek, like you've never, I've never seen before, and it's just getting worse. I mean, it's beyond me how it keeps getting worse, but it just keeps getting worse. So look, I'm going to pull out. I haven't even downloaded it yet. For me, the holiday ended, not long ago. She did this town hall last night with CNN, and it couldn't have gone worse for her, right? It's like I don't know, is she just like stupid that she thinks that people don't realize that she can't answer? Because I mean, again, look, it's all over based on the arguments. Like, nobody's undecided right now. Either you hate Donald Trump, or you have the possibility of being sane, right? So who's voting for it is beyond me. It's absolutely beyond me. Here we go. Oh, actually, I'll show you a video of a Harris voter in a second. Oh, they're all crazy. So again, I haven't even listened to these. I just seem like I skim these, and they're all pretty bad.
You're absolutely right. You know it. I know it. I think most Americans know it. Price of groceries is still too high.
I'm Donald J. Trump, and I approve this message.
Yes, they are. And they're too high because of you. But no, let me see if I can get any of the good word salady ones. Okay, both these ones look pretty good. Let's have a look at this. And that it, like, yeah, they had, I think, Obama's speechwriter or something like somebody who worked with Obama say, whenever she gets a question she can't answer, she just divulges the word salad, and she can't answer any of them. Right? Incredible. I hope she does Joe Rogan. So that's another thing. When I came out of Sabbath on Saturday night, Joe Rogan would have had Trump on the day before. I'm expecting that to be like epic. Here's another, which is on the ropes as always.
Her hand saying in a debate when asked if border crossing should be decriminalized, but obviously that is not your position.
I never intended, nor will I ever allow America to have a border that is not secure. I believe we need to deal with.
What they're talking about? You're in charge of the border and it's not secure. 21 million illegal aliens have come. That we know that you can guess about, not that you know about. What do you mean never allowed? You just did. You literally just did allow that. That was your job, and you allowed that to happen with your job.
The illegal immigration. There needs to be consequences, which is why part of my plan that I have outlined, and again, please go to KamalaHarris.com. Sorry to throw a website on you, but why not?
Why not? Why don't you just answer the fucking question like Donald Trump does? Donald Trump will say, I'm just going to do the stuff I did last time. That did the trick.
And you will see that part of my plan includes what we need to do to actually do more as it relates to putting resources in, including increasing penalties.
Again, but what? Why didn't you do this before? I don't know, but again, I don't know. I'm not going to do too many of these because it's like every time I come out with a Jewish holiday, it's the same. Like it's like Groundhog Day. Kamala Harris screwed up again. Really? Like she turns to look like she's completely unfit for government again. Really? Well, that's a story we haven't heard before, is it? I mean, like, it's just relentless. There's another one. Doink. Video for share screen. Oops, sorry, doink.
Something you can point to in your life, political life, or in your life in the last 4 years that you think is a mistake that you have learned from?
I mean, look, let's be fair. When you've asked anybody this question, they're going to have a plethora of answers, right? I mean, like, everybody knows they're not perfect. But much more so with Kamala Harris, who pretty much destroyed the Western world with her administration. Like, flooded the country with illegal aliens. Like, I mean, like, not a good showing, right? Not a good showing. Oh, one second. I forgot to do this one in a second. Doink. Doink. Like this is something that she should. Okay, let's just what she has to say.
I mean, I've made many mistakes, and they range from if you've ever parented a child, you make.
But she hasn't. She doesn't have any kids.
Lots of mistakes too.
Yeah, and you did it without parenting a child. And what's with the weird laughing? So I sold my kid as a sex slave.
In my role as vice president, I mean, I've probably worked very hard at making sure that I am well versed on issues, and I think that is very important. It's a mistake not to be well versed on an issue and feel compelled to answer a question.
Wait a minute. What? Well, that expression is priceless, right? Let's just hear her say that again.
It's very important. It's a mistake not to be well versed on an issue and feel compelled to answer a question.
That's literally what you do. I mean, like, okay, I was going to give up on that one, but I think we've got to go for. That's literally what she does, right? Again, this is CNN, which should be safe ground, right? Not like they want Donald Trump coming back, is it? I mean, they kind of do. Saying that Donald Trump would save their company, I think. But I mean, although, can you sustain Trump duration syndrome for another 4 years? That to me is a real question. I remember Jon Stewart came out and said, "Look, COVID was made in a Chinese factory. We all know that, right?" It was kind of a cathartic moment for the world, because the fact that we can stop screaming about this one thing. Yeah, we can stop screaming about that, right? I think after the only way Trump's going to really win is if he has a huge decisive victory. And I think, with all the cheating that's going on, or they're going to try to have going on, whatever's going to happen. Although I just don't think the cheating is going to work. I just think they're going to screw up somehow. That's the way I think it's going down. But I mean, I think if there's not a decisive victory, then he would never be accepted as president. Well, that's why I think there will be a decisive victory. But we have to wait and see. But let's say, okay, he becomes president, sworn in, the whole thing. Then a Jon Stewart or somebody needs to come out and say, listen, I think we just need to all chill out a little bit. Right? We spent the last 8 years running around in a state of permanent terror for nothing. Everything we screamed that was going to happen didn't happen. Right? There's no fascism in America. Everything we were so uptight about, we were wrong about everything. Why don't we just climb down from this insane horse and say, Donald Trump's the president. Let's hope he does a good job, and forget with this stupid resistance and get on with our lives and get on with enjoying our lives again, right? Wouldn't that be? I think whoever can do that would just give permission for so many to go just relax and chill out about this nonsense, right?
You criticized the wall more than 50 times. You called it stupid, useless, and a medieval vanity project.
Yeah, I did all that. I like, all that happened, right? I'm going to be fucking killed when I'm president. That's what looks like going through my head right now.
Is a border wall stupid?
Well, let's talk about Donald Trump and that border wall.
Okay, no, we're talking about you and the border wall.
So remember, Donald Trump said Mexico would pay for it? Come on, they didn't. How much of that wall?
Okay, do you see how no one's resonating whatsoever? And they did. That's why you had Remain in Mexico, and they were very helpful, right? That's how they stopped people. That basically how it went down.
Did he build? I think the last number I saw was about 2%. And then when it came time for him to do a photo op, you know where he did it? In the part of the wall that President Obama built.
But you're agreeing to a bill that would earmark $650 million to continue building that wall.
I pledge that I am going to bring forward that bipartisan bill to further strengthen and secure our border. Yes, I am. And I'm going to work across.
Wait. You said you didn't do anything wrong, right? And you will always have a secure border, even though you have a porous border, right? So why are you giving $650 million more if you did it all perfectly?
Across the aisle to pass a comprehensive bill that deals with a broken immigration system. I think Jackson's question, part of it was to acknowledge that America.
I think something I could say was part of their question somehow, somewhere, was Donald Trump. And of course, my neighbor, the white dude for Harris, he's like, yes, this all makes complete sense.
America has always had migration, but there needs to be a legal process for it. People have to earn it. And that's the point that I think is.
There is a legal process that you dismantled. Yeah, that you've circumvented the legal process to flood the country with illegal immigrants, much like in England, right? We're like, who's behind this flood of boats? Some civil service fuck, probably. I wouldn't be surprised.
The most important point that can be made, which is we need a president who is grounded.
Who is not Donald Trump. Who is not Donald Trump, right? Who can be injured one day and black the next day. That's who we need, who laughs insanely and can't answer a question. That's who we need.
The most important point that can be made, which is we need a president who is grounded in common sense and practical outcomes. Like, let's just fix this thing. Let's just fix it. Why is there any ideological perspective on this?
Okay, you've been vice president for 4 years. Who stopped you fixing it?
Just fix the problem.
To fix the problem, you're doing this compromise bill. It does call for $650 million that was earmarked under Trump to actually still go to.
Why are you still talking about that? I don't know. It's like Hillary Clinton's email server. Old news.
Build the wall.
I am not afraid of good ideas where they occur.
So you don't think it's stupid anymore?
I think what he did and how he did it did not make much sense because he actually didn't do much of anything. I just talked about that wall.
No, you didn't. Does she think she did talk about the wall? I don't know. I feel this is kind of like Chris Chibnall doing Doctor Who, right? There's no way you can hide how epically badly it's going.
Right, we just talked about it. He didn't actually do much of anything.
But you do want to build some wall.
I want to strengthen our border.
Well, why don't you just say I built the hell? Wait, look at this face.
You criticize.
1 second. Just look at her face. Oh my God! It's like the mean girl at school finally gets her comeuppance, right? This is what it looks like to me.
You've been in the position of vice president for the past 4 years under the Biden administration. How can we expect you to deviate from the direction of that administration compared to your own? How can we differentiate your policy and your beliefs from that of Biden's?
That's a great question, and thank you. Well,
that's a great question, and I love great questions. Great questions need to be questioned, right? It's no question if a great question needs to be questioned, because it does need to be questioned, and I want to thank you for that question. I think that answers that question in full, right? That would be a Kamala Harris answer.
First of all, my administration will not be a continuation of the Biden administration. I bring to this role my own ideas.
Wait a minute. You said you didn't do anything wrong and everything went well, right, with you. So why would, if that's going so well, why would you change anything? Okay.
My own experience. I represent a new generation of leadership on a number of issues. And
Joe Biden does know what it's like to suck a cock to get a mid-level political job. I do. Oh, yeah, I certainly do.
Believe that we have to actually take new approaches. For example, what we talked about in terms of housing. My experience that leads to that priority includes what I did to take on the big banks around the foreclosure crisis when I brought billions of dollars to homeowners that were the subject of predatory lending. I know
billions of dollars.
Know what home ownership means.
Yeah, okay. I just want to point out, under her tax plan, every year you're going to be charged 25% of the cost of your house, right? It is unrealized gains. 20% of the acute value of your house, right, from the time you bought it. So if you bought a house in 1990 and now 30 years later it's worth $500,000 more, or $1 million more, you owe the government $250,000 even if you haven't sold the house. It's designed to make home ownership impossible for people who aren't insanely wealthy.
To the American people, not to mention what it meant to my mother, who worked very hard and saved up so that by the time I was a teenager, she was able to buy our first home.
Camilla, did you grow up as a middle-class child? You never mentioned that.
Bring to it my experience actually taking care of my mother when she was sick, and it was, as it turned out, dying from cancer. And so I know what it means and have the experience of taking care of an elderly relative, and I have raised children.
Wait, what's the bloody question? Go back. I want to go back to the question.
Considering you have been in the position of vice president for the past 4 years under the Biden administration, how can we expect you to deviate from the direction of that administration compared to your own? How can we differentiate your policy and your beliefs from that of Biden's?
My mother had to save up for a house and died of cancer, is the answer. Okay.
Elderly relative, and I have raised children.
No, you haven't. No, you haven't. Your degenerate husband had kids from a previous marriage, and boy, is he a degenerate slime. Ugh. Right? They were grown. You didn't raise anyone. They were grown children. What is she talking about? You know, we all can find out the truth.
And so I bring to my priorities and will, as president, a new approach and a new idea, frankly, about what we need to do to deal with the sandwich generation.
Make sandwiches for them? I don't know what you're talking about. That's the thing. I mean, again, but here's the thing. It's going very badly. Everything totally through this. Ugh, I pressed the wrong button. Let's go here. I think, are we going to wrap it up with this one? Probably.
Quick to have the answer as soon as you ask it about a specific policy issue sometimes, because I'm going to want to research it. I'm going to want to study it. I'm kind of a nerd sometimes, I confess.
Is she drunk? I don't know. I mean, like, again, every time I come out of a Jewish holiday and there's constant Jewish bloody holiday, it's Kamala Harris doing extraordinarily badly, right? Extraordinarily badly. Oh, was it? I think there's a good parody one over here. Oh, yeah. Fine. We're nearly done. Because I did see a parody one, which I want to show you as well. Because it was funny. Right. There it goes. Let's see what this one is. Doink. Share screen.
Do you bring to the table, and how do you plan to overcome them while you're in office?
That's a great question, Joe. Well, I am certainly not perfect, so let's start there.
Yeah, we all agree.
Perhaps a weakness. I think that my decision-making process, but I actually think it's the strength, is I really do value. My team will tell you I am constantly saying, let's kick the tire on that. Let's kick the tires. So I may not be quick to have the answer as soon as you ask it about a specific policy issue sometimes.
This makes more sense with it all being spliced together.
Because I'm going to want to research it. I'm going to want to study it. I'm kind of a nerd sometimes, I confess. I've made many mistakes.
Still going.
You know, you make lots of mistakes too. In my role as vice president, I am, and I think that is very important. Well, there was a lot that was done, but there's more to do, Anderson. And I'm pointing out things that
does this make more sense to you, or is it just me? Right? I mean, I don't know. I think this might be a parody one as well. Yeah, I'm looking for the parody one, and then we will wrap up on that one. But where is it?
that need to be done, that haven't been done, but need to be done. I mean, I've probably worked very hard at making sure that and they range from, you know.
Yeah. And again, if they cheat, she's going to be president. she's literally one. I mean, the only good thing about that Kamala Harris presidency is that it would fit so seamlessly in a shared universe with Keir Starmer being prime minister, right? But although we would all die, I think very, 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 very quickly. So the final one is they ask who is better. I think Kamala Harris or was it Tim Scott from The Office? Was that name Mr. Character? I think we'll find out in a second.
A weakness, some would say, but I actually think it's a strength.
Well, my weaknesses are actually strengths. Oh, yes. Very good. There you go. Very good.
I really do value having a team of very smart people around me.
I work too hard. I care too much, and sometimes I can be too invested in my job.
Again, the bullshittery, right? The unhinged, relentless bullshittery is just cray, baby. It's just absolutely cray. Fine, let's get to the chat, ladies and gentlemen. There we go. Oh, let me put a thumb. Oh, I did well with the thumbnail today. I am happy with today's thumbnail, ladies and gentlemen. Yeah, let me put that. Doink. Screen. Oh, yes, we're talking about 1988. This is exactly what my coffee table would look like in my bedroom in 1988. If my parents were out, I would keep my furtive. I don't know, six brand new bank beauties for your furtive pleasure. Here you can say. There we go. We sit in more vivid detail over there. Billy Gibson looking great as an 80s babe, still only 80p. Good value. See, I wanted to kind of like nasty, cheap tat fill, and yes, this one gets it. I was going to put more wordage on the side, right? I was going to have like in this issue, Perry and the Time Rotor of Love, things like that, because that always makes you laugh. But yes, Back Magazine. And I hope you will appreciate this to show you what a genuine fan I am. These are both DWB, Doctor Who Bulletin, Starburst, and Doctor Who Magazine are all from the same time, right? They're all from the same. Like Doctor Who Magazine is from when Silver Nemesis was transmitted. So I am, the authenticity here is, may I say, fantastic, right? If I say so myself, absolutely fantastic. Rabbi, why are all the pages of Doctor Who magazine stuck together and not this? Best not to ask. Yes, best not to ask. I'll tell you the answer. The answer does involve, indeed, Perry and the Time Rotor of Love. Life in the Lost World of 1988. The deep dive in 98 season 25 on Blu-ray continues with Silver Nemesis. Yes, 1988, where everything was better. Even bad Doctor Who was better. I would rather watch Silver Nemesis and Space Babies or Empire of Death. Or what was that name? That last episode? Fuck me, they're awful. Oh man, I'd rather watch 5 hours of the gum plodding, emotionlessly through Terminus and like wrestling with a giant light switch than 10 minutes of anything with shooting. Oh god, I hate it all. It is all. Blade dropped from the MCU schedule. Well, they finally gave up on that. Nicolas Cage and the horror of AI. Yeah, he's not happy about AI, mate. Nick, mate. Let me be the first to tell you. Yes, you are completely replaceable by AI. Your performance is, it's not one anyone's going to write home about, right? It's just, and I love you. Look, I love Wild at Heart. I love a lot of Nicolas Cage movies, but man, it's so replicatable by AI. Will you stop? See, that's people who cry about AI the most. The ones that the work is so low quality, right, that they could be easily replaced by AI, right? Amazing but true. Where we are. So what are we up to? Oh, fine. Right, sorry. I just had a message coming. Fine. We're doing the chat. That's what I was doing. I remember now. Okay. Where we're up to. Fine. So Darren M is here. How you doing, Darren M? Thank you for joining us. Reasonable listeners from both Rumble and from the YouTubes. Colin Archer, how you doing, Colin Archer? Thank you for joining us. Digby Strawbridge is here. How you doing, Digby? Lovely to have you. And I hope you love to be had. Lonnie is here. Lonnie from On Comics is here. How you doing, mate? Thank you for joining us. And D is here. Oh, what's better? Who is a better Dracula, Bela Lugosi or Christopher Lee? Oh, I'm going to say Christopher Lee. But who's been the best Dracula? I kind of like the one they did, Stephen Moffat did, the Klaus Bang one. 1 second. Let's pull up movie and TV versions of Dracula. Right, and see. Let's list them. See if we can find who's better. Movie and TV adaptations of Dracula. Is this in order? All right, Count Dracula and popular culture. Let's have a look. Share screen. Good question, D. Okay, good question. If you don't mind me saying so. Let's open up. Share screen. So drama, musical, opera, ballet. Fine. So Bela Lugosi. Well, Nosferatu was the first one. Much better, by the way, than Nosferatu is. What was it? There was a movie about Nosferatu with William Dafoe playing the guy who played the vampire, who was a real vampire, right? So then Bela Lugosi Again, in Christopher Lee. Christopher Lee was excellent. Oh, Dracula pornography. Okay, let's tell me what. The color has been inspiration for throughout the history of porno movies and high and low budget. Okay, this person knows too much, right? The 80s Dracula, Monster Squad, Waxwork. I like Gary Oldman's portrayal. I like Bram Stoker's Dracula. Probably his last good movie, I would say. Yeah. Dracula, Dirty Old Man. Why is there such a long version for long entry for porn parodies for Dracula? 71. Okay, that's some Russian one. Don't know it. Canada. Jack Palance. Man, I don't remember that one. Oh, Louis Jordan. I certainly prefer what's his name? Gary Oldman, right? Gary Oldman, totally. I like the Klaus Bang one, right? He was actually very good. If it's still on Netflix, it's worth seeing. I really like that miniseries. Was it? The 2013, 2014 series, that was awful. With Jonathan Rhys. I did quite enjoy it, right? Then saw a revisionist adaptation of Dracula with Mark Warren as Count Dracula, brought to England by Arthur Holmwood in an attempt to cure syphilis and make it impossible for Arthur to consummate his marriage to Lucy. Well, man, that is a real different take on it. So, okay, who's the best one? I think Klaus Bang I'm throwing in as and also Klaus Bang and Gary Oldman, Christopher Lee. Look, I'm going to say I haven't seen the Christopher Lee ones recently, so it's going to be hard to really judge. But I'm going to say, because I have a prejudice in favor of Christopher Lee, even though I think it's probably Gary Oldman, right? I keep meaning to watch that show, Slow Horses. There's new. It's on Apple TV, and I'm getting that in a month or so when what's name comes back. Silo. Oh, what a great show Silo is! Really recommend that. Digby Strawberries here. Digby, thank you for joining us, sir. The bad news is that Candy Owens is now trying to blame Kamala on Syrian Jews. I feel bad for Candace Owens. Like I really have a lot of respect for this one from Steve. I genuinely have a lot of respect for her. I think she was pushed to a somewhat bonkers place by being treated shittily, essentially by Ben Shapiro, I would say. Right, but I generally feel bad for her, and she's just she's lost in a maze of mental illness right now. Right, I think she's a brilliant woman. I really genuinely think she's a brilliant woman who's been overwhelmingly a force for good. All right, so she's saying a lot of anti-Semitic stuff, but man, I would really like to give her a pass on it. Because I think she's a good person. Bottom line, I think she's a good person corrupted. By the way, I like the sneaky Rizzlers on the on my coffee table. Yeah. This is essentially what my what life was like at 16 for me. Right, 17, that's 88. Where we're up to. I guess she's just lucky that no one has ever asked her why the changes she wants didn't happen last time. They do ask her, and she just comes up with a weird word salad, right? Yes, if this icky lady wins, she should be the next Doctor Who. Oh, she thought she would be better as Doctor Who than Jodie Whittaker. Totally. Okay, would Kamala Harris be better at Doctor Who than Jodie Whittaker? Yes. Wow, I found something she could do. Of course I will. I just don't want to be associated with Trump's scholar. Exactly, man. I don't know how I cracked this guy up in synagogue yesterday, right? And I walked in. I go into it's a very long prayer service in the morning on this holiday. It took me 3.5 hours, right? The main synagogue, I started at 7, which is way too early. Main synagogue started at 8, and they finished at 1:30. Oh, it was crazy. Oh, how many? 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. 5.5 hours. They had food in the middle of it. And this thing called a kiddush. But I was well home by then, right? So I walked in and he said, "Oh, you're in you're in the right room." I said, So you know what kind of room this is? A room with a quicker prayer service that we can leave early. It's in English, but it doesn't make any sense. She's the queen of gobbledygook and the art of speaking without actually saying it. But like so much so, they should really be rerunning Veep at the same, because this is exactly like Veep. It really is, scarily enough. That was Raymond Williams doing Raymond. I'm blaming Musk for allowing all the migrants into UK because I was told an anti-Semite to do one on Twitter over saying Jews were responsible for the migrants. Musk had me banned from Twitter. Wow. How did they do? The Jews were responsible for the migrants. We're really not into it, as far as I know. I haven't got the memo, right? We're talking about come on. That's okay. Tzvi Lebetkin. Camellia doesn't know what she's talking about anyway. That is true. Matt Pot says she's drunk, and Matt Pot, I think has got a figure on his bun. Matt, you you said something. What was it? You said something that really cracked me up the other day on downstream. I can't remember what it was. I can't remember, but I really genuinely laughed. Right? I'd like Shadow the Vampire. That's right. Razzle. Oh, they don't make Razzle anymore. Oh, Razzle was the greatest. Oh, I listen. It was so insanely tacky. Razzle was the Cinnabon of porn. Man, when they make up Monster Russell was real and played by William Dafoe. That was great. Steven says, most people are good people pushed too far because most people aren't politicians. Yeah, I just really feel bad for Candice. Dr. Alex is here. Oh, am I going to listen? Well, I'm going to have to try and do it tomorrow. I'm going to have to try and do it tomorrow. Am I going to listen to season 14? I got to listen to part 4. If I can do that, I can do a review for it on Saturday night, which will be fan-dabby, double. Ethan Bookholder is here. Hey, Ethan Bookholder, thank you for joining me. And also, I'm sorry, you sent me a message. I didn't reply. There's a bunch of people I haven't replied to. Again, these Jewish holidays, absolutely crazy, baby. Absolutely crazy. Yes, it sucks up every part of my life. Yeah, I do. Don't get me wrong. The rabbi enjoys a good sucking, right? Yes, he does. Yes, he does. Anyway, I present for you here. Let me just send a message. Great. 1 second. Doing. As you see before you, a fair representation of what a coffee table in my bedroom would look like in 1988. I think it's pretty fair. I mean, look, we didn't have Spank Bank magazine, right? That was just in my furtive imagination. Sadly not. There are other people here to bear witness, right? To bear witness that this is the best life could possibly offer you. Back in 1988, it's probably too good for him. Right? All I'm saying, look, listen, he's a good man, but he is Birmingham's king of the geeks. It's Dan Hadley, after all. How are you doing, sir? Thank you for joining us.
Oh, those days spent scavenging for bush porn.
Quite often.
Yeah, I used to forage. I was a little bit like the Bill Oddie of the porn mag world.
Are they still around? I think because they were. Look, other than I love the tackiness of them. Well, are they still around? They still do it?
They are, but when you go into some shops, and largely they're in the lower end sort of petrol stations, the ones that aren't attached to major companies like Texaco. So lower rent ones, you see them in there, but they have underneath the masthead of the actual magazine is now, and they're all bagged now from what I've seen. But there's a piece of brown paper. So all you can see is the masthead, and everything else is masked off.
It actually comes in brown paper. Well, there you go.
Yep.
Yeah, I think that's quite good. But again, I'm very proud of this in that I got the right issues of Starburst, Doctor Who magazine, and DWB, all of which talked about Silver Nemesis, right? Contemporarily, plus the Rizzlers there on the top. That is.
I bought them all. Apart from the Rizzlers, I was a Starburst DWB reader and a DWM reader.
Indeed. And again, you put in a copy of Rabbi Spank Bank with it, you just got a good evening. By the way, I do like the caption. Rabbi, why are all the pages of Doctor Who magazine stuck together? But not this. Best not to ask, says Sylvester. You're right, Sylvester. Best we don't know. It's too disgusting. So my basic contention is this, that things were so much better in 1988 without cell phones, without interwebs. We had CFAX, but that's basically it. Yeah, without that even what I would class as very bad Doctor Who was way better than what we have today. Like I was going to be doing about Silver Nemesis. What are your feeling on Silver Nemesis?
Shocking. Absolutely fucking shocking. The very worst classic Doctor Who story, in my opinion.
Wow. I'm really sorry. Okay. And this was somebody who loves Delta and the Bannerman.
And if you want and the special edition where you get a lot more footage and adds more story to it, even worse. Worse.
No, I can't argue with you there. Yeah, I mean, like the
terrible.
I think the for me the worst offense of it was
Sylvester's quite good in it. So Sophie, come to think of it.
Who was good at it? So, I like the new Cybermen. Okay, personal story. Do you remember Seven's models?
Yeah.
Right, they did these awesome. Let's pull up some pictures of them. They did these awesome kits of.
I never bought one. I would never have had the patience to put one of those things together. But my God, you could see they were the Rolls Royce of the model makers.
I did, and they were awesome. And they weren't hard to put together. Here, I'm just putting up some pictures of them. All right, here, there's that one. And I didn't get the Red Dwarf. I really should have got the Kryter one. They did a good Captain Black as well.
Did they do Red Dwarf ones?
Yeah. I'm just pulling out what it looked like inside the kit. Okay, the sales were just awesome. Here, 1 second. So they started off here. Man, these are all too small. Here, let me share the screen. Share screen. It started with the Dalek, and then with Davros. They had Ice Warriors. And they had. Let's see if we can find a bigger quality.
The Ice Warrior was the last one I remember them doing, but they probably did some after that.
No, they did a bunch after that, right? The Ice Warriors are like the second or third one, right? That's big when I was going to Doctor Who conventions, right? Yeah. And I got to I met him and I chatted with them. Oh, 1 second. Oh, here's the Ice Warrior. This is the ad from Doctor Who magazine. Oh, yeah, we pulled this up. Doink. Right, and okay, so when I got the Ice Warrior...
That's the ad I remember, yeah, with the Ice Warrior.
Right, so when I got it, I never seen a story with the Ice Warriors in, right? I just know they looked incredible. This was before Seeds of Death had come out in the awful edited form, right? But yeah, so anyway, I because I spoke to him a few times at conventions, right? I had like a week off where I was working or something, or a couple of days off, and I really wanted to buy a Cyberman one from him, right? And again, this is what they look like. They were very easy to put together. The Cyberman one especially, right? Essentially, you just glue all the bits together, sand them down, so there's no seam, and spray it silver. And it looked awesome, right?
I would not have had the patience to even do that.
Oh, fantastic, right?
Sanding stuff down? No.
It's like that was really a mild thing. Let's see if I can find it.
I'll look at them after other people have put them together. Thank you.
Oh no, I used to like putting them together. Oh yeah, here's the Red Dwarf Kryten. And a second, is it going to be too small as well? Doink. And they did very good, like Captain Black and Captain Scarlet, which was very much in vogue at the time.
They were beautiful. Yeah. I remember that. Of course I do.
Right.
Yeah.
1 second. Captain Scarlet.
Doesn't look a great deal like Robert Llewellyn in the face, but
I know. But just there was no much like these out at the time.
No.
Right, and they were so incredibly screen accurate. When he went to get his get a license, the model they got back from their people who designed, who made the demo, was garbage. So he made it into an exterminated version, and somehow he was able to sell it. Right, he got the license. So good for him. Anyway, right. So I was talking to him and said, is there any way I can get a Cyberman one in London? I need, because that's where I lived. Right, again, the Cyberman was incredible. And they weren't cheap either. How much were they? 16 inches tall, right? So is this shipping?
That could have been another thing that put me off. If it would have cost me, like, if I could get four or five Doctor Who paperbacks for the price of this, then I'd always go with the books.
Oh, no, I would much rather have this. But how much are they? It doesn't say it.
I had zero shelf space, though, and a very clumsy parent who liked to dust and polish every day. So, again.
Well, yeah, then you would be. It doesn't say how much they are. Can you see anywhere where it says how much they are?
Yeah, where it says UK, USA, Canada, it says
is that shipping or is that
$15.95 per kit.
Oh, okay, yeah. Okay, $15.95 in '88. That was quite reasonable, right? Anyway, so I phoned him up and said, "Is there any way I can get one locally?" And he was like, "No, but I'm going to be in London. Was it tomorrow or the next day or something?" Because he was looking at the Silver Nemesis Cyberman that was thinking about making a kit of it, right? And so he just come from viewing the new Cyberman and said they are phenomenal, right? They are absolutely phenomenal. And if you don't remember, they had like the cricketer gloves for hands. Right?
Yeah, of course.
And they
like
really
me,
good.
you probably noticed every time a monster came back, like a veteran monster, I noticed every single tiny change.
Yes. But again, I love the 80s really had a good love affair with the I swear the Cybermen. Silver Nemesis.
A gentle evolution. I mean, I've always felt that Silver Nemesis was a bit of a crying shame, really. There's a good story underneath there somewhere.
See, I'm not sure there is. I remember the documentary they made about it on American TV. What was it, Canadian or American TV? And it was, look, Cybermen are silver, and this is a silver anniversary, so that's why it was just the stupidest things you could ever possibly hope to hear anybody say, right? And you're absolutely right. The added scenes were detracted from it. Now, here's the weird thing, though. What really saved the story for me was the special effects. I loved it when they blew up Ace's boombox, right?
Yeah.
What's a boombox called in 2024?
Ghetto Blaster.
Ghetto
Boombox.
Blaster, yeah. So that gets blown up by the Daleks in was it Resurrection or the Remembrance of the Daleks, and then the Doctor builds a new one and he uses it as a scanner and he sees a cyber fleet. And I love seeing the cyber ship come down and land. I just thought that was here. Let me see if I can pull up that clip.
There are some nice ideas in Silver Nemesis, which is the best. That's the best I can find in my heart to say about it.
Oh yeah, no, there was a lot of great good ideas. The Ace with the catapult and the gold coins. I thought that was awesome. I
would have loved that had she not used the baseball bat a few weeks earlier, and that had been everything that this story did. Remembrance did so much better, and if it had been a year on, I'd have gone fair enough. But it was 6 weeks later.
Yeah. That's totally fair. Hang on. When did they land? Let me see. Let me see if this is the cliffhanger for episode 1. You saw them land.
Yeah, that's right. And then in the cliffhanger to episode 2 is when the cyber fleets appear, isn't it? Thousands of them. They were invisible. Yeah. They were invisible, Ace.
Wait. No. Oh, yeah. That's the first time we see it.
Oh, the direction of this is so fucking flat as well. It's only when I see bits of it that I remember how poor some of this is.
Was it Chris Clough? It was actually normally.
I'm afraid so. And no, I don't think it was actually, because I usually enjoyed Chris's stuff.
Anyway, here, let me just play this effect shot.
No, it was Chris Clough. You're right.
Don't move. And the Nazis were just like too on the nose, whereas like the London fascists were just perfect, right? From the 1960s.
Yes, quite. Yeah.
No, I love this. I'm like, this special effects are awesome.
They saved my life.
Don't thank them yet. You might live to regret it.
Daddy, he really nailed that role by season 25. Oh.
Yeah, he was solid in this.
Right. And I like the new guns.
What are they?
Cybermen.
Okay, that's a near perfect cliffhanger. I think, everything else around it is bad. I agree with you. Like Lady Painful is embarrassing. The comedy thugs are embarrassing.
Perversely, I like Lady Painful. I think Fiona Walker was really good in that role, and I would have liked them to have done more with her. I wanted more of her than everything else. I didn't want the Nazis. Didn't really. The Cybermen were fine in principle, but they get in the way of.
Oh, you say if it was just a Lady Painful, so you're absolutely right. It would have been a lot better.
It would have been so much better. She was
a great villain, right? She was a great villain. All right, let's see what's on the discs. Because again, I'm even going to be watching this, like, glued to the screen. 3 episodes restored to HD. Commentary, Seth McCoy, Sophie ordered Andrew Cartmel. Perfect commentary track.
Yeah,
perfect.
Yeah,
documentary. Yeah, that's okay, right? It's nothing that like makes me go, oh yes, more of that. Optional CG visual effects. So yeah, these are the effects. There's new effects and everything, right? But they're not CG effects. Look, these are models.
Practical. Yeah, they're doing it with these and several other releases. The Blake 7 stuff, for example.
The Blake 7 one's the one I'm most excited about. By the way, if you have time, I'm going to doing a review of what's the episodes? Animals and what's not Assassin? The one with the robot head where the guy's clearly wearing a
Headhunter.
Headhunter. Okay, which again, I am loving Blake 7 right now. I'm so excited for the season 1 coming out. Anyway, behind the sofa, and they're changing the people on each one now. So you got Sophie Fielding, Nicola Bright, Janet Fielding, Mark Hardy. Oh, Mark Hardy's in this one. Bonnie Langford, Sylvester McCoy, Wendy Padbury, and Sarah Sutton. I mean, like, man, these nothing says I am completely retired than Wendy Padbury and Sarah Sutton appearing on these things. Like,
how many versions of Silver Nemesis are in the set? Does it say?
I would say minimally 3, right? Probably 3. We'll find out in a second. Did you read the thing about what they're doing to Happiness Patrol?
Yes, I've read about.
Really exciting.
I've read upon that extensively, and I think it's because the BFI thing was connected with that, and our panelist Anthony, he was there, and Ian Levine, as I'm sure you know, Ian went both times, so he's told me about it too, and so I've sort of my eye hasn't been on. I don't know what they've done to the other 3 stories, or if I read about it when they first announced the release, I've forgotten about it in the 3 or 4 months in between.
So let me ask you: when they turned out they had the wrong episode, I read on Twitter that people were insanely pissed off, but
I would have been.
People got over it pretty quickly. What do you think the truth was?
Let's put it this way: if I'd have travelled from Birmingham to the London South Bank for the day,
right,
at the expense of a train fare, taking a day out, maybe even arranging accommodation to stay overnight, I'd be fucking furious.
Yeah.
I'd be ready to chin someone.
Yeah, I could see that. Yeah,
seriously, I would have done. I'd have been absolutely furious, and I certainly wouldn't have gone back.
Well, it's okay. They had a drag queen, so everything was okay. They got Andrew Cartmel Matthew's tweet. That's going to be great. All right, that's going to be a really good conversation. Makeup Doctor Who from '88, the New Jersey Network documentary. It's garbage, but it's fun to watch.
I wonder what the drag queen was called. Do you think it was Helen Anus or something like that?
No, she had to have an official drag queen name. Open air expert featuring viewers complaint. Oh man, did I feel bad for Sylvester? Is this the one with? No, this is not the one with Chris Chibnall, right? But I worked out earlier that the Kamala Harris campaign for president was every time I come out of a Jewish holiday has had another implosion, right? She did a town hall last night, which was
it's ridiculous. Right. All of it is completely ridiculous.
The only advantage to her winning is it makes sense in an in-universe way that if Keir Starmer's Prime Minister of England for Kamala Harris, right? That kind of works. Other than that, but my point is this: I thought it struck me as like the same thing as Chris Chibnall writing Doctor Who. Like, at one point, a light gets shined on you, and if you have talent, you have talent, and if you don't, you don't. You sort of didn't.
Did you see the other day they tried to get, I think it was yesterday or the day before, they tried to get Power of the Doctor trending on Twitter as some sort, because it was 2 years since the end of the Jodie Whittaker era. They were trying to make out like it was like a major thing, that something huge ended 2 years ago. It was a fucking nightmare, all of it.
Like, the only good thing about the current era is it ended the previous era. Oh, if only it would have been better. New Jersey Network interview with Chris Clark. That's interesting. 5th anniversary interview with Sophie Aldred. And who's Droka Niradzic?
Did the makeup, didn't she?
I have no idea. Trials of PDFs. And okay, we got the special edition. 3 extended episodes restored to HD. I think they should have made it into a movie-length one. New visual effects. So you can have the new effects on the restored version or the original effects. Silver Nemesis special edition with new effects, 5.1 sound. That looks like the same thing? I don't understand. Oh, you also get the 93 extended version. God help us. Fine. Okay, let's see what Pigment T has to say. Right. Where are we up to? Fine. So the official 95th anniversary still hasn't been prized by family as highly as it might be. Because it's shit! Come on! And we both love Doctor Who, and we're saying it's shit.
Yes, absolutely awful.
Does Pete Matique think the new extended edition can go some way towards restoring its reputation? No! Pete, come on, mate! It's not going to happen. I mean, look, it'd be great if it does, but no.
I like how he says, I really hope so. Oh,
I really
bless
hope
him.
so. I mean, maybe we can put some more lesbians in it. That's probably what it needs. Right? Like, what would the show be like without somebody trans or lesbian in it? I can't even imagine that.
I think we don't want to live in that world, do we?
We certainly don't live in a world, that's for sure. I really hope so. I think both the middle stories of this season suffer from being sandwiched between two classics. I don't know. Happiness Patrol didn't suffer at all. Remembrance is an obvious heavy hitter, and a lot of people really love Greatest Show in the Galaxy. I love Greatest Show in the Galaxy. Oh my, I like it a lot.
I'd like to love it because I think there's a lot to recommend that, and it's certainly far better than this. But I always feel the Greatest Show is an episode too long, in a way. Yeah, they never got it quite right with a lot of these stories. The format.
For me, that was the real birth of this new era, right? This entire season was like a birth of a whole new year.
What I find when I watch Greatest Show, it's such a relief to see Doctor Who being competently made and paced and balanced, that I forgive the fact that it's flabby and a little lacking in flavour. The fact that it comes together and is recognisably Doctor Who at this point, in a way that Remembrance had been too. I love Happiness Patrol for what it is. I think that works really, really well. So you got a nice contrast with those three stories. For me, the outlier is this. I sincerely think this is the very bottom of the barrel. Undeservedly so. I think a lot of effort probably went into it. And I know it's not like I ever skip it when it comes to watching stuff, but I do wince through a lot of it.
Yeah, I'm like that. But I'm like that with Delta and the Bannerman and Paradise Tales for that matter. And I wince quite a lot from Time Lorani for and also
I think because season 24 is. I tend to look back on them more because obviously each year of the show in the 80s when I was a child each season was kind of lived as a whole. So I remember the peaks and valleys every single week. I remember what I used to get the piss taken out of me for in the playground the most or the least. It really was. It was like going into the ring for 14 weeks. And when Doctor Who didn't come out swinging, we sort of as fans tried to make up for it. Really,
for me, I had the opposite experience. This was the one where my contemporaries like really were started to really enjoy it. As people got into drugs and weed and sex, this style of Doctor Who became much more like people liked. Was it Remembrance of the Daleks because it was good old fashioned Dalek-y story.
Everyone loved that. The show was really back at the top for those 4 weeks, and it all died the week after. As soon as the Candyman came on screen, that was it. And nobody at my school.
Candyman. I look, if it wasn't that they changed the word progressive to mean like, raping children or whatever at this stage, I would describe myself as a very progressive guy.
No, me too. I always liked Happiness Patrol and the Candyman. I winced a bit at it at the time, but generally speaking, it's never really bothered me ever since. But the general population never gave it a day in court after that. I
found people like normies really like Greatest Show. Right, like again, I could have, I did. Like, in that time of life, I would have a bunch of friends around to my place every day, literally every day, right, for a obscene smoking sesh, right, and in my teenage years, and we put stuff onto Veg Out. People like Greatest Show. They're like, man, this is cool, right? It was like different. And they kind of continued that with the Stranger videos. That first one, the second one had had that same kind of weird vibe, and also it was in Reddington. Chief, that would a fantastic villain, right? Just an absolutely fantastic villain.
Yeah, to be fair, he is one of the most memorable villains in 80s Doctor Who, maybe even in all of Doctor Who.
Yeah, just a wonderful performance. Anyway, so we'll see. We're not talking about Silver Nemesis for a good reason. Again, with Silver Nemesis, a lot of footage lost in the edited out version. So there's a good amount back in there, but there's almost 10 minutes of new footage, which really helps flesh out the story. Well, see, that's probably the problem.
Exactly.
We don't need to. I don't need to see Ace's portrait, in Buckingham.
The story is so thin, so ill-conceived that the more you get of it, the worse it is.
Yes. It doesn't improve with added ingredients. Okay, so and again with so I think there's about 10 minutes new footage in the flesh out. And again with digital editing, I'll be able to go back and just tighten the sequences and make them feel a lot faster and pacier. That will probably help a lot.
Fair point, yeah.
That will probably help a lot. The big battle between the Cybermen and the soldiers, I thought they were the Nazis. Nazi soldiers? I think so. Anyway, has been completely recut from scratch with a lot of new scenes between Sylvester and Sophie and some big surprises that will let viewers discover themselves. Well, that's exciting.
Yeah.
It is exciting. Yeah. The new effects really help sell the story. Again, I like the old effect, but that's just me for you. He continues, there's a new effect of the Cyber Fleet. New effects of the Nemesis comet. Well, they could have used that. That's true. It was just like, no, I take it back. That was quite a good Mike Tucker.
Yeah, I thought the model of that was absolutely fine. You see, when he says it makes the whole thing feel more expansive, yeah, I like that, and a bit more modern. I don't need it to look modern at all, really. But I think
the comet.
I mean, I still love that title sequence.
Yeah, the title here. That little globe thing. Really impressive. I mean, like for the era, just really impressive.
At the time, that was a great special effect. Really, really good.
We're about to see the Cyber Fleet.
That's terrible.
I don't know. I mean, look, the direction's bad, but I like the Lady Painfort. You're right. I hadn't thought of that before. Take out the Cyber. I mean, maybe keep the Cybermen, but take out the Nazis. It gets a lot better.
Right? If you take out everything but Lady Painfort, and you've got this obsessed woman from hundreds of years ago who's put scientists to work to create this way of time traveling, because I think it's a fantastic story. It should have been sort of really pared there. They could have made it a two-parter. It wouldn't have made a very good 25th anniversary story, admittedly. No. But they had, you see, that where they fell down, they should have made the Dalek story the 25th anniversary story, and this should have been a two-part a 2-part, maybe 3-part, but say a 2-part, far more pared down story that could have put this doctor, this sort of more psychological doctor, against an opponent who like travelled in time, just to get to him. That could have really, really worked. Just 2 parts, ideally, would have been great.
Right, yeah.
That's what I'd have done.
Yeah, I hear it. Anyway,
Less is sometimes more. And just the title Nemesis would have been absolutely fine. The idea that it's a human being as well and not an alien, that a human being would do that, would go to extreme lengths.
Right. Yeah. No, that does make sense. Anyway, we're going to see the effect for the comet. I mean, yeah, it's not bad.
That's perfectly fine for the time.
Yeah.
Not so.
I mean, it could have been on a bit of an angle. You're making a fair point there.
Not so much that. It's those cyber ships that's terrible.
Yeah. Okay, that looks better. Let's be fair. That looks totally better. Okay, fine. So they've got a new thing in. I've always loved it, and I think the new edition gives you more of what you love if you love the story. Don't really, but okay. Look, Pete, mate, this is all looking good so far.
I can't knock him for that, because if you've got your favourites and you've got your little things and your wrongs that you want to put right, if you want to be the Sam Beckett for Silver Nemesis, Pete, you go for it, pal.
Yes. The extra features include scenes dropped from the special edition. What are they? There's a couple of onion scenes that I didn't put back in, so there's a little deleted scenes package. Okay, blah, blah, blah. They were cut for good reasons because they don't work for the narrative or the pace of the story. They seem okay, fine. So this is going to be good. Matthew Sweet interviewing Andrew Cartmel, right? Two clever people. Clever people, probably both completely captured by the woke mind virus.
Completely.
Is Matthew Sweet still screaming about COVID and masks? Because, like, Matthew, get
I
over
I assume so. I mean, when you get him off the subject of sort of entertainment and literature, he's a card-carrying sort of...
Yeah, exactly.
He's completely intolerable.
He's somebody who would say the old people not getting their winter fuel allowance is good because they don't deserve it.
He'd be completely down for that, yeah.
Right. Oh, no. Again, I like how they have the shuttles in the new version look like the shuttles in the...
off for the telly. Yeah, it's a nice touch.
Yeah, it's nice. The box set also includes an omnibus version of the story. I've always felt that actually there's a version of Silver Nemesis that would be better if it was a shorter. Well, we all agree with you there.
Yeah, there's a reason for that.
Some quite extraneous sequences there. By the way, a complete side point. Somebody asked me in the chat. D asked me in the chat, who was the better Dracula, Bela Lugosi or Christopher Lee? So I went and looked on Wikipedia for all the different Draculas. So I trying to think who was the best. They had a whole section about porn parodies. I'm like, what? Like, I'm not arguing there are Dracula porn parodies, but like, this is not really. I mean, like, they're porn parodies of everything, right? Ghostbusters, right? You can have literally. So I don't know what, but they had a long section on that. So I had it down to the best were, I think, Bela Lugosi, Christopher Lee, Gary Oldman, and I like Klaus Bang in the Stephen Moffat. He
was great.
Yeah, which I thought he was actually very good in it.
I only saw the Bela Lugosi Dracula about 5 or 6 years ago for the first time. I've never been a big sort of horror guy, and so I've never gone back too far until then. And I was, I wouldn't say blown away, but I was captivated by what he was.
It was definitely a performance. Have you ever seen that Martin Landau movie by Tim Burton? What's it called again? About the making of his last movie, Plan 9 from Outer Space.
Oh, you mean Ed Wood?
Ed Wood, yeah. That's
film.
great. Martin Landau, Cap Commander Koenig playing aging Bela Lugosi. Let's see if I can pull out that clip.
I'd even go so far as to say that's still Tim Burton's best movie, and I like Tim Burton. I'm not a... Oh,
I like him as well. Martin Landau, Bela...
I don't think he's ever really topped that.
One second. There's a great line where he pures... was it profanity? Oh, they talk a lot about him being like this massive drug addict. Yeah, one second.
I do like Christopher Lee, but Christopher Lee does in the part what you'd expect Christopher Lee to do.
Yeah,
at
but
the time,
I love Christopher Lee so much, you know, that it is. I can forgive it. In 1 second, let me play this. Ed Wood. Like, yeah, so it's always shooting up and doing heroin in it.
Mr. Agosi?
Oh, this is a great scene.
I know you're very busy, but can I have your autograph?
Certainly.
Is he still alive, Martin Landau?
no, he died. He didn't die that long ago. It was 3 or 4 years ago. It was
Right.
quite. He lived to a ripe old age.
You know which movie of yours I love, Mr.
Okay,
Lugosi?
this is a great line.
The Invisible Ray. You were great as Karloff's sidekick.
Karloff? Sidekick? Fuck you! Karloff does not deserve to smell my shit! That limey cocksucker can rot in hell for all I care!
What happened?
How dare that asshole bring a Karloff? You think it takes talent to play Frankenstein? It's all makeup and grunting.
Bella, I agree 100%. Now, Dracula, that's a role that requires talent.
Of course! Dracula requires presence. It's all in the eyes and the voice and the head.
You know, there is somebody in Canada we both know who, if you treat this way, you'll get gold out of it. Just pure gold.
That's right. That's right. You
I've no idea who you mean.
mean. You want to go outside and get some air?
Bullshit! I'm ready now. Roll the camera.
Anyway, we're not talking about Silver Nemesis. I think that's indicative.
Yeah, I mean, it depends. What is there to really say about it? I mean, you know, I'd like to hear Pete McTee and people like him who really love it sort of wax lyrical about it, I suppose, but it's still Silver Nemesis.
The rest of the season is so gorgeous. The rest of the box set's so fantastic. I can forget pretty much anything.
It's like when you talk to a massive Crossroads fan and they tell you in great depth about the show, and then you think, oh, it sounds great, and then you go and watch an episode and it's fucking terrible.
It's breathtaking how bad it is, right? When you say, I can't work out why there's not they don't have a full archive of it on YouTube or something. People would still go to it. They really would. Anyway, like the skinhead, Dolores Gray as American Tory Mrs. Remington. Yeah, that was why. Cut those out completely.
Well, right. Again, absolute indulgence. I think, in all honesty, I think that at this point, even though Nathan Turner has sort of stepped away from the involvement that he did have, a lot of his excesses are very present in this. I think as soon as he twigged that this was going to go out in line with the anniversary, the old JNT came back to the surface, and we get a succession of very, very stupid decisions right across the board, which are far, far worse than they would have been like 2, 3, 4 years ago. Because by this point, he was slightly distanced from it because Cartman had taken over so much of it. So the decisions that he made stand out even more, and they really harm the finished thing, in my opinion.
Yeah, well, because this was all about bumps on seats, essentially, wasn't it? Having Dolores.
It works with the two doctors. He gets away with turning what was an excuse to go and get pissed in Spain for 3 weeks on the license fee pay. He gets away with that because 3 years earlier he was in complete control of the entire thing,
and everything was going great. It was casting Colin Baker that went off the rails. And that's really where his life went off the rails. Anyway, so was it? So they say they've taken those out. Apparently, the skinheads and Doris Gray. Once you take those things out, it's amazing how much the story tightens up. Okay, so as a little experiment, I've done a cut that's kind of like a 1970s Christmas omnibus, a 1 hour cut, and it's great. Oh, that I'm going to be looking forward to seeing. So if
I'll watch that.
Like Silver Nemesis, maybe you like the shorter version. I bet that's for you, right? I bet that's for you.
Yeah, cheers, Pete.
There are so many versions of Silver Nemesis on the set. There's the transmitted version, the VHS version. That VHS cover was awful, by the way. They had great VHS covers coming out month after month, and then you had this awful photo montage one, right? They were mainly, was it Adris Gilliter? Oh, they were gorgeous, right?
When you put this one on the shelf next to all of those, it just looked like somebody had snotted it out into the middle of your collection.
Yes, it did. It looked like
unreal.
It out. That's true. Which is basically just had some extra scenes hacked into it. I think it's a fair way of saying it, because they couldn't afford to do any music cue extensions, and so it's a very clumsy edit. But it's presented here as it appeared on the VHS. They should have added a little bit of static to it. That would have been fun. Then there's you have that as an optional extra, static version or regular. Omnibus version, the new special edition. I kind of hope we'll get everybody the definitive version, so we got more than you could ever hope to see. Well, again, of Silver Nemesis, that is very true, right? That is very, very true. I can't argue with you there. Okay, so listen, that certainly sounds exciting me about coming out in Doctor Who. Do you have anything that you're excited about in the worlds of Doctor Who coming out in the near future?
Do I have anything? Well, apart from the content, the fantastic content on the Type 40 channel.
You can tell us about
do I have? I mean, there's all the usual stuff that everybody else is. I mean, there's some great DVDs, Blu-rays coming out. There's some books coming out as well, connected with sort of graphic design and typography, which I know is a bit wanky.
Yeah,
but I do like that stuff. So I'm all over that. There's not so much, actually. I mean, I know that DWM have launched this new bookazine range in the slipcases and things, which seem exactly the same as the others to me. So for me, it's still the Blu-rays, just to keep an eye on what's coming out there. And I think I just wish there was something... I wish the brand was a little more alive, in line with how the series is now. I wish it was all working so much better, because by now I should have feasted on the season 1 box set, and there should have been some lovely extras in there that we could still have been talking about. So it all feels a bit muted to me for a series that's on. For a series that's on and should be coursing with life, the things that I am looking forward to and enjoying are all things from the classic era, really.
Crazily, yes. Okay, so there's one thing going on which currently in Doctor Who, which I really enjoy, right? Which is moving forward, and it's strange because it's coming from Big Finish, the War Doctor, right? I love what they're doing with him. They just changed the format, so instead of having 3 individual stories, you have one much bigger story, and it works so much better, right? So the new trailer just came out for the next one, coming out in December, which again, the thing I'm most looking forward to. I haven't downloaded it. It's the thing I'm most looking forward to right now in Doctor Who, right? It's got a sexy Mavellan in it. Well, at least she looks sexy.
Oh, I saw the artwork. Yeah.
Yeah, it's really nice. Look, I've got a soft spot for Mavellans. I loved seeing the Mavellans in that Capaldi episode. Like blink and you miss it.
Yeah.
They were fantastic.
Yeah, so did I.
Well, so let me pull up this trailer. Let's see if it's a good trailer. And see what you think of it, right? Like, share screen. Doink.
Lateral phase shift attained in perfect synchronization with disrupted channel. Objective requested.
From Big Finish...
Okay, so first it's a good trailer because it starts off with the Dalek. I like that. You can't really see because the... what's it good in the... waveform is covering it, but this is the Spider Dalek. Here, so I can get the.
Yeah, I saw the clean artwork. Again, beautifully done. I think this is by a guy called Sean Longmore.
Yeah. I mean, it's really what some of the best stuff I see. But okay, so if you've been following Big Finish with the War Doctor and the Time War, this is a Dalek character they've had as a recurring character, the Time Strategist Dalek. But now again, it seems to be like merged with the. I'm going to pull up the clean art in a minute. Seems to be merged nicely with the 2005 era. Oh, I just noticed that. Okay, this cover is great, right? Because I'm now seeing that there's a lot more stuff, and I'm interested.
Yeah,
you got the sights in the background. That's from Deadly Assassin, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't know what that is. That comes out of. I don't know. There's some kind of new alien. You got Ogrons in here. And I can't see who the bloke is, but hey, let's carry on playing.
Productions. Doctor Who, The War Doctor Rises. Unknown Soldiers.
Objective received.
Testament. The leader.
I am Paz, commonly known as Paz the Traitor, Paz the Turncoat, Paz the Despicable, etc.
I know who you are, by the way.
Paz.
So, okay, one thing I'm concerned about already is seemingly everybody in it is a woman, other than the Doctor, right? And again, I don't mind. Just sometimes, can we have a bloke in Doctor Who, right? Just sometimes, you know. I don't think I'm being churlish for that.
If that's your real name.
Paz is an old Gallifreyan insult. My true name was rewritten throughout all of history as part of my punishment.
Yes, Paz is the boss. Testament. The bank.
I am Regent Lunim alias Rogue of the Rogian Empire.
Worst king ever.
We shall reclaim what is mine by birthright.
An emotion spliced Magellan, a disgraced Gallifreyan spy, and a deposed monarch?
A emotion spliced Magellan. Is that a good idea? I don't know. Magellans are good for being like very flat, right? I know. Again, whenever I say Magellan, I forgive him and think of Susan Dando made a very, very strong impression in was it 1980, 1981? What year was
79, 80. Yes.
79. There you go.
Testament. The brains.
I am known as All Morale, and I'm an augmented Magellan, which means I've got a mind of my own.
I'm kind of bored, okay? I mean, honestly, it feels like they got, a very attractive black lady playing it, but so she can say things, I've got a mind of my own, right? That's what it
depends.
Like.
It depends where she's augmented. If we're talking like, say, 36 EE, I'm down for that.
That's an augment we can all get behind, right?
Yeah.
Absolutely. The bouncy castle augment.
I came up with this algorithm that maps every possible timeline in a conflict. There's only one instance where the war ends with that reality ending too. One junction in the quantum tangle.
Okay, I don't know why I'm excited for this, right? Because everything is screaming run away from it. Like a stunning and brave. Oh God, it's all been pretty good so far. I don't know what to tell you. Like the Dark Gallifrey Morbius thing, I thought was very good, and it segued very nicely into the War Doctor. It was like a prequel to the War Doctor Morbius release. But okay, the trouble with Dark Gallifrey remains. Right, that first 3 episodes, where it's focused on Morbius, was a sequel to the Morbius real story, right? Where he had like he led a populist revolution on Gallifrey. That could be like 5 seasons of like Game of Thrones politics and sci-fi battles.
Yeah, I don't see why there's not a full-time series all about Morbius. The character is that strong, and when you've got Sam West to play him too,
he's so good at it.
It could be equally as strong as a War Doctor range.
Yeah. I don't think they put it together. I don't know.
Really lean into the kind of the horror kind of angle as well. Make it all very Hinchcliffian. That's what I would do. As if that era, that range.
Right, it'll become like iClaudius, because like when you do like Hinchcliffian, right, you mind goes to that era, and you want to put like weird political backstabbing intrigue in it. It's iClaudius essentially.
Anything you do with a character like Morbius, it should be like it's permanently 1976.
I don't disagree.
One slip of the knot.
Okay, how long has this been playing? So it's a minute and a half. I've heard War Doctor for 1 line. I don't want to hear from you. Stunning and brave girls are the key to fucking everything. Let me hear the War Doctor.
One crucial event.
For the Time War to truly end, this man we see before us must die. And we have to kill him.
Testament. The wild card.
No, my name is not important. They're calling me the wild card.
I'm not talking.
I mean, man, he's very good. To John Hurt, okay? He's very good.
Superb.
Stopping the Daleks.
Dalek fleet is in near stasis. Phase Dalek is not. Phase Dalek operating at maximum efficiency and will transmit into battle. Incoming from all directions! See?
They do the action stuff well in the War Doctor range there.
Locate. destroy.
Big Finish, for the love of stories.
Okay, I'm still buying it, even though they've done everything they can possibly to make me not want to buy it.
The beauty of this line is that they can do so much with it. In that the Doctor, the War Doctor, or whatever he calls himself or isn't calling himself, can lead some stories and take steps back from others, because it's almost like like a war campaign. This is going to be the only chronicle of that time we're going to have, and I don't mind that at all. Jonathan Carley
I think
is
if you're doing a Doctor Who story, you've got to have Doctor Who front and center.
Right? Yeah. Usually I'd agree. Usually I'd agree, but there's something about stuff that's set in the Time War, particularly with this character, because the choices that he's made are so different, that I'm open to the stories being told in a different way, and for the Doctor's part in events to be different, because we've got the conventional stuff with McGann before he becomes the War Doctor. Right. Everything the Eighth Doctor is doing is still very Doctorish. So otherwise, I think these would be Paul McGann stories without Paul McGann, which wouldn't be fair on Jonathan Carley, and it wouldn't be a reflection of how Hurt had developed the character on screen. So I see the difficulty they've got with it.
But okay, if this is a fair representation of that release, here, let me pull up the previous.
Too many chicks talking. Too many characters. I don't know who any of them are. If one of them had been
right,
well, if one of them was Leela, great. But or Vecklin, or somebody I know from other Big Finish lines. But I don't know any of these birds are.
so this one was good because it had the War Doctor front and center, right? It was about him, and it was about Morbius, right? And also it had this really good plot line where it started like this is kind of a sequel to the War Doctor Begins range, right? Where he's been suffering for the last couple of years with temporal toxemia. That if he moves in time, his skin burns up and it's incredibly painful for him. So he's been stuck healing on Karn, I think. There's a sister of Karn in it, and Morbius turns up. But it's like it's like a good mini series, right? Of something that you would have, like an epic you would have on over Christmas.
See where I think that Big Finish sorry, Big Finish, if you're listening. This is where I feel that they go wrong. The title, Morbius the Mighty, wrong. This is what I mean. It should sound like it's 1976. It should be called The Mighty Morbius.
I don't know. I'm going to disagree with you here, and I'll tell you why. Because I think this is. Well, I think the character, is very rooted, and I think the Morbius monster is much more rooted in 1976.
They should all sound schlocky, in my opinion.
But no, this sounds very modern. This sounds like what 2000s Doctor Who should sound like. So for me, that works because Morbius is a character that we didn't really see in the original series, right? Now it's but look, Soundwest Portrayal was very good. But this one, again, look, I am 100% captured by the sexy Mavellan. But I'll be clear. And then you throw in
surrender. To the hot
bronze, and you got
girl.
the Spider Dalek. Spider Dalek's awesome. I'm sorry. That Spider Dalek looks freaking incredible. Right? And I know it's audio, but and Timothy X Attack is also quite good. So what can I tell you? Look, they do have mid in it. Look at that. I don't know who they are. Fine. Okay. Another thing I appreciate, whoever's playing the sexy Mavellan,
there she is.
Looks like her in real life. Like this looks like the same person. Like I can imagine her playing this role. Whereas they had the companion with Harry Sullivan, who was just awful, right? I'm sorry, it was just not very good. I don't know what to tell you. Although Big Finish has 2 very good free things out right now, I really strongly recommend. I downloaded them because I like them so much.
They've made the 4 Doctors free, haven't they, to make up for the app going down for about 3 months.
Here, one second. But they also
I've got that on CD, but
it's worth getting just because it's so much more convenient. And Time of the Daleks, like it's freaking awesome. Like totally. If you have Doctor Who magazine, get yourself there.
I'm glad you like this too, because this has always been one of my favourite audios. Time of the Daleks, I think it's wonderful.
it's so connected thematically to Evil of the Daleks, right? And it's so weird as well because you have the Daleks quoting Shakespeare, and it really works weirdly enough. And okay, listen, I'm sorry if I'm being too Jewish about this. Let me be clear: it's free, okay? It's free. Take it. Free.
Anybody who's ever been in two minds about sampling audio Doctor Who or not, and would it be enough for them? This absolutely is.
This is a good one to check out. I agree with you. I haven't started listening to the Four Doctors, which is also free right now. But here's the thing, though, right? I'm listening in the middle of listening to what's it called? Stuff of Legend, which it's okay. Wait, is it doing this one? And I keep turning off to listen to Time of the Daleks, right? Because it's so much it's just so much better. Quality has dropped so much, and you really don't really. And look, I mean, this is a fun romp. It's Alex McQueen as a master. It's got Robo Men in it. It's a fun romp, but it's not as good as Time of the Daleks. It just really isn't. Sadly enough. Okay.
Shame.
I was going to do a review of 2 Blake 7 episodes now. Do you have time to join us, or would you?
I'd better shoot off. I better dematerialize because I have got to get myself pumped up.
One second. Matt Pott has come up with the Morbius.
Hey, Matt.
The balls of Morbius. Yes, right. I think I'm behind you there, Matt Pott.
Well,
right?
Matt will definitely be talking more balls with me in the not too distant future. We'll be over on the Type 40 channel for Type 40 Live and myself.
That is a perfect Karen Gillan picked image you got there.
I agree. Yes, how could I resist dropping Amy in the police woman's outfit in there for Type 40 Live Spicy Brew, coming from 8 p.m. UK time there with myself, Matt, and several other of the regulars. So come and spend a couple of hours with us picking our way through the the nuggets here for what's going on in the Whoniverse. There is more going on than you'd think. We've got a whole list of things to work our way through, and lots of silliness to be had. So there's lots of room for comment from everybody out there as well, and we'll get through what we get through, and we'll leave what we leave. So yeah, please come and join in.
That's a good thing about being in this null news zone, right? You get to look at things in more detail that you wouldn't normally look at. And get to have more of a loosey-goosey thing. Connor says, is that free with the purchase of the magazine? Yes, or with getting that QR code. Either way. Either way you get that QR code is fine by me. But it's totally free when you have that. Why is she dressed like Jinx Monsoon? Who are we talking about? Morbius balls are discovered putting a glass fish tank with electric probes. Who were? Why is she dressed like Jinx Monsoon? I'm not sure who we're talking about. Maybe it's Jinx Monsoon. that could certainly be, right? That could certainly be. Fine. Okay, fine.
Jinx Monsoon.
You're on an hour. Less than 40 minutes.
Yeah, it's time flies when you're having fun, mate. I hope to catch up with you again in the next few days. Yes, but not least of all, we've still got our project to put together as well, haven't we? So more on that.
And there's no show Saturday night for you, right?
No, I'm away for the weekend. So there will be some stuff on the channel I've got scheduled to come out. People have mentioned the Ian Levine show. Yeah, there's that wasn't a one-off either.
You can't do enough of those. They are all. Look, being somebody who actually interacts with Ian Levine now, it's the most. I can't describe how awesome it is, right? It's exactly as you expect it to be, right? Could you imagine if you start hanging out with Donald Trump or Kamala Harris and they're exactly like that in real life, right? It's the same thing, right? There's so much drama going on, right? And then he's got so much energy. He's having this major cancer operation, I think in a few days, weeks.
Yeah, they post. I don't think you mind me saying they postponed it for a few weeks, but he's still obviously the things that man has lived through, is living through and with, and yet he's got all this energy, all this resolve and commitment and affection.
He's still pumping out great Doctor Who, right? Look, and I get it. It's some people, it might not be for somebody's taste. I totally get that.
And he gets that too.
Man, what?
He understands that it's not to everybody's taste. This is what people don't give him credit for. He understands that this stuff isn't for everybody, and he doesn't mind. but it's for him and those minded like him, and that's why he doesn't. That's why he doesn't understand the nastiness that's directed, because he feels like he's doing no harm. He's doing his thing their way, and he's not asking anything of anybody else, and yet they still keep coming for him. That's, I think, it is. You look at it that way, and you think, yeah, what harm is this guy doing?
I know, but I do hope he publishes not his autobiography, because that's massive.
Ian Levine Uncensored is, in that form. Ian Levine's always uncensored, but Ian Levine Uncensored is exclusive to the Type 40 YouTube and Rumble channels. And there's multiple episodes recorded as well. So whilst the first one was an edited version of stuff we've done before, there's lots of new stuff coming. I've already had these conversations. They're just being licked into shape. So yeah, if you want more of Ian Levine, go and subscribe, and obviously support Ian in everything that he's doing as well. Absolutely. With the recons.
Everybody likes a good licking into shape. That's all I can say. Fine.
Thanks.
Okay, with that, you're heading off. I'm going to head off as well.
Have a fabulous weekend. I'll catch you later. Bye-bye, mate. Bye-bye.
See, you've got a good weekend too. Fine. So I forgot I started half an hour later. So the clocks change very soon, and that really screws up my because they change in different time zones. Twitter's like this, YouTube's like that. So I might they don't stay until Saturday night here in Israel, but after that they're going to be kablooey like for a week or two. I do want to say, I'm not doing Blake 7 now. I will start off with it on unless of course there's been like some more Kamala cringe or no, Trump's doing Joe Rogan. I know. I have to see, but I'm back. I'll be the same time on Saturday night at 5:30. And then it's 5 o'clock for the rest of the winter. Fine. With that, ladies and gentlemen, I'm going to head off into the sunset. I'm going to bid you adieu. I'm going to be a Jew bidding you adieu. Going to hit the end broadcast button. I'm going to hit it again and say good night. Good luck, and